Peak 15, located on the border between Nepal and China. In 1852, the British Surveying Agency measured the elevation at 8,848 meters, the highest in the world. They named it Everest. A dozen or so expeditions had attempted to scale the mountain. On May 29, 1953, a British team led by Edmund Hillary of New Zealand and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay became the first ever to reach Everest summit. Ever since, the view from atop Mount Everest has stirred the spirits of mountaineers worldwide. Viewed from an airplane, the Himalaya mountains are completely covered by glaciers to form a beautiful range of peaks. The Himalayas, which stretch for 2,800 kilometers from east to west, have 14 peaks with a height in excess of 8,000 meters, 8 of which soar into the azure skies over Nepal. So, how was the terrain of the Himalayas created? Over 200 million years ago, the Indian subcontinent was part of Africa, and the supercontinent Pangaea. About 200 million years ago, the plates began to move, and over the eons, India edged northward and collided with the Eurasian continental landmass. Let's take a look from another angle. As the land was pushed, the seafloor between India and Eurasia was lifted up to form the Himalayas, with mountains reaching up and beyond 8,000 meters. The bands of yellow, seen on Everest and elsewhere, denote layers where the seafloor was pushed up. Fossils of ancient creatures, like ammonites and trilobites, can be found here. Let's go trekking on Everest, the fascinating mountain touching the top of the world. Our trip to Everest begins at Sagarmatha National Park's Lukla Airport. The journey from Lukla to the village of Namche Bazaar takes about 8 hours. There are 9 villages with lodges along the way. The junkyard, a male yak cattle crossbreed, carries food and other supplies. Mountaineers scaling high peaks must take breaks. Numerous rope bridges hang over the Dud Kosu, the world's highest river. Darjo flags are hung to pray for safe passage. Breathing heavily as they climb the slopes, each porter carries 100 kilos. After ascending the precipitous Climbers Road, the pure white snow-capped peak of Everest first comes into sight from between the trees. Namche welcomes climbers with lodges and hotels in a bowl-shaped depression. with a bustling Saturday market offering everyday goods, vegetables, meats, and more. After huffing and puffing up more slopes, we arrive at the largest settlement in the Khumbu area, Khund and Kumjung villages. Sherpa mountain guides live here.
गाँव का नाम
The villages, surrounded by the sacred mountain Kumbila, have the first school granted to the Sherpas, Hillary School, since renamed Kumjung School. It caters to preschool, primary, and secondary sections and produces brilliant youth who will be responsible for the next generation in Nepal. The Sherpa people, living in a harsh environment, are devoted to their faith and hold a festival every week.
इतनंदन इतनंदन
ना आइले
तो फोन करी जो
तो ना आइले ना करू ला दो
A massive earthquake that struck Nepal in 2015 also inflicted heavy damage on Sherpa. The recovery finished with a reconstruction of the Kumjung Gongpa